Well, it's nice to be back out on the cinders. I think it's been more than a year since I've been here. Not sure if we'll find anything today. You can see the flowers are out. The sacred datura, I believe it says. This stuff's quite poisonous. I think, is it called Jimson weed? Some nice examples of sacred datura. I think these cinders are the result of the 1085 eruption of Sunset Crater, which is, I don't know, a few miles to the south of here. Might be worth looking at some of these rocks. Not for petroglyphs, there's not many of those around here, but for other signs, broken pottery. There's a lot of nice painted pottery in this area. Like a black sand beach. Looking around from a high point, there's my shadow down there. Well, there's a lot of places to look. I think I've been up that way before. Not here, but further up. And maybe we'll go up there and see if we can find something. Don't want to get skunked today. Sort of a striking example of where the lava has flowed over the sandstone sometime the last couple million years. Well, I'm an hour in, and I think I just found my first piece of pottery. Plain gray stuff. One thing nice about looking for pottery on the cinders, you got an area like this, pieces really stand out. That looks like a piece of pottery. Yeah, that's a bit of black paint on white pottery. Yep, that's pottery. Huh, some paint on this side. Maybe even be polychrome. Can't quite tell whether that's three colors, two painted colors or not, but a bit faded. That's nice. It's about 50 feet from the previous piece of pottery. I'm on a little high point here where I don't think people lived, but they may have gathered. So that is dried cow manure. That's dried cow manure. But this is pottery. Some sort of similar texture. This is corrugated pottery. It's been blackened on the inside. There's a lot of nice corrugated pottery around. It's the first piece we found today. But happy to see it. Quite a bit more. I've moved about 20 feet. It must be near a habitation site. There would be so much pottery. That one's corrugated, clearly. The corrugated is considered the everyday sort of cooking ware, I think. The people who lived here on top of the cinders is around 1100 to 1300 AD. And there's a lot of trade going on here in northern Arizona. There's a nice piece of corrugated. So that you can find all different sorts of pottery corrugated, which makes it really fun to look for it up here. Been laying here for 700, 800 years. Pretty big piece over here. I see this white colored piece. Just plain. Possibly some other part of the vessel was painted, but not on this shirt. This is probably a rim of a corrugated piece. You find a lot of rims. They're quite robust. This corrugated style pottery. Probably find a better example as we go along. Oh, there's some painted. Black on white. These were more, I think, for bowls, food storage. My understanding is they're made by the same people that made the corrugated. The painted piece right here, just a little one. I think we're getting near a habitation site. It's a different type. It's got some black on white paint on that side though. And there's a little bit bigger piece of corrugated. I'll have to look for the ruin around here. This one is more, it's rounder. This came from a different sort of vessel. Now this red one has a little bit of black paint on it. I think that's called White Mountain Redware. I'll look at the other side. Oh, and had a hole in it as well. You find pieces with holes in them may have been used to put a string through to carry the vessel. That's sort of nice though. Corrugated. Yep. You can see just how much pottery there is. They broke a lot of pots. Some places they say they broke them on purpose when they abandoned, but I don't know how you tell. The thing is, they last forever, these pieces, so if you lived in a place 50 years, you probably broke a lot of pots, and the pieces just hang around. That's a black line painted on that red piece there. It's a rim piece. Too bad the paint is worn off. Pretty nice piece of pottery. Very thin, very smooth. You get the corrugations and the light right, and it really stands out. Well, about 100 feet from where I was finding that pottery, I can see some stacked stone walls here. So this is obviously man-made. Whether this was a habitation site, possibly so. It looks like a square room right here, and then there's more beyond. One room is quite well defined. You can see that looks like a far wall over there. It's hard to tell. It's all full of cinders where the edges were. It does look like the cinders have drifted in here. Again, that's a stacked stone wall, man-made. That may be man-made as well, right there. And look, it looks like on top a little room. Again, the people thought to be here after the cinders, 11 and 1200s for the most part. That's a pretty big piece. And that's got the edge that I mentioned before. So this would be the rim of the vessel. It's got plane at the edge of the rim, and the corrugations start below. It looks better in this light. But these rims tend to be, you find a lot of them. That's a pretty nice, that's the best piece of painted pottery I found so far today. Circle is a little unusual. Let's see what it is. That's a round piece of pottery. Don't know if it was made that way or just happened to break that way. Sort of interesting. Well, I've come down the hill a ways and I've hit another spot where I think I can even see the ruin over there. And see the some stacked stone right over there. If I look at down here, there's certainly a lot of white pottery. The piece that's standing out to me is this. We're just talking about rim pieces for this corrugated. This, I guess that's the top rim right here. You can see how that would have been around to make a vessel, and then the corrugations start below. We've got some black and white here as well. Piece over here. But this is obviously part of the ruin right here. You can see the perimeter, the walls arranged. I think these things probably had roofs that were made of perishable materials that are gone now. So only the part of the masonry base remains. Although I'm not an expert. But you always find perimeters, you find low walls. You don't find anything that could be a roof. And here's this one I saw from a distance again. Obviously a stacked stone wall. Only seen one side of it, maybe. There's a nice piece of red corrugated down there. Some of it's red, some of it's tan. I've seen even black, I think. Like a white piece there. Yeah, certainly, again, stacked rock, man-made. There's a small circular perimeter there. Again, there's pottery all around. There's some black on white. You can pick up a few pieces, but let's just finish. Oh, look at this, quite a big perimeter you can see on this one. Sort of a fairly large perimeter there with the cinders on the inside. Don't see anything on this side defining it. But judging by the pottery everywhere, this is a habitation site. That's a nice one. I'm going to take a picture of a few of these in my hand. Well, I've collected some of the pieces I saw around here, some of the more notable ones, and give you a view here. I think they're obviously some nice pottery at this site. And I turned them over. You can see they're all plain on the other side. Sometimes they're painted on both sides, but usually not. Again, part of a big painted bowl, I guess. Leave the pottery where you find it. This is not for collectors. I know a lot of people pick up pottery, particularly those like with hunters. They're out walking around the woods or in the desert. They run across pottery. They think that's cool. They pick it up. You know, my attitude is it's been here for 1,000 years or thereabouts. Leave it for the next guy. You don't need to have a bag full of it in your house. Well, I've been walking about a mile since I last showed any pottery. I've come down this hill, and laying face down was this piece just below me here. But I see black and white. That's something. It's worth noting. I'm not sure what kind of tree this is. Maybe Google Lens will tell me later, but sure drops a lot of nuts. I think I've noticed these before. There's a Bruin over there, a much more obvious one than the other ones. This one built out of sandstone. It's here near the edge of the painted desert where there is sandstone. There's a fair amount of this kind of construction in this area. We're not too far from Wapatki National Monument, which has some very nice ones, much more major than this, but using this kind of construction. But this one's in the middle of nowhere. I walked 6 miles to get here. Look at the construction. It's sort of funny. They don't usually look like this. It almost looks like it's been reconstructed. Normally, other ones I've seen in the area have mud. Well, you can see some mud in there. It could be that some of these top layers have been added by later people who were messing around with it. Most of the ones I've seen would have a smooth wall. They don't have the these various edges sticking out. It shows much sloppier construction. But this one is certainly that way. Go inside. Well, actually, we won't go inside. There's no doorway. Yeah, this, looking at it from here, obviously that's a big lintel that went at the top, creating the opening for the window. But this has been added. And look at that. That's been constructed as a fireplace in there. So I don't know about the history of this one. Maybe I'll stick a few pictures in of other ones just to make that point. There's a spring around here which is consistent with why there would have been a habitation site at the same location. Be a good place to live. Even looks like some modern work here done, possibly for water capturing some water from the spring, which probably is where these trees are, and using it for the cows. There's one of those sandstones with ripples on it, made from ancient wave action on the shore. Well, I've been walking around and I can't find any pottery at all. It's got me questioning the authenticity of this. Could be that some of the first people here, first settlers here, may have made it as who knows, maybe even a cabin to live in. But this isn't like the native construction. You see all this up here, you can see gaps. That's obviously been piled on later. Come down further, I don't know, there's just not much mud in there. I just don't think I don't think it's authentic. And certainly not with a fireplace like that. Well, that's too bad. I'd prefer doing all this walk for an authentic one. Maybe part of it is. You see this? Well, I see a lot of mud here in the front, but again, the irregular construction is not expected. But you know, maybe they built onto a ruin. Maybe that's the best guess as to what's happened here. Well, we'll never know. Looking at that, you see the window. The part coming down looks much flimsier and irregular. I suspect that could have been a door that has been partially filled in. Got a pretty good edge on either side, as the original builders would have. But I think that's just plugging a hole. Yeah, I think it's a combination of new and old, this one. Climb that nasty hill. Heading this way. Oh, about 3 miles. There's a deer over there past that tree looking at me. Ran away a little bit. Oh, there he goes. It'll be okay to picture up. Try. Around the other side of the tree. Well, there's a rocky high point there. Yeah, I'll go have a look.